Sometimes history hides its darkest lessons inside the things it tries to forget. In 1938, a small independent film called Child Bride was released, and for decades it would linger at the edge of American film history like a ghost. The kind of movie people whispered about, not because it was brilliant, but because it crossed a line that should never have been crossed. Directed by Harry Reid, Child Bride was presented as a moral crusade, a film made in the interest of public welfare. It claimed to expose the issue of child marriage in rural America, where underage girls were sometimes married to older men. But behind that supposed message of reform was something else entirely. A film designed to provoke, to shock, and to draw attention through controversy. In the quiet hills of the Ozarks, life moves to the rhythm of hard work and old traditions. The people live by the land, poor, proud, and stubborn, holding on to customs long forgotten elsewhere. But among those traditions lies one that Miss Carol, Diana Durrell, the new school teacher, cannot ignore: the practice of marrying off young girls before they are grown. Miss Carol, herself born in these hills, returns home after years of education, determined to make a difference. She teaches in a one-room schoolhouse perched high on a ridge, where children of all ages gather around her blackboard. Among them is Jenny Colton, Shirley Mills, a bright, curious girl with a kind heart and an eagerness to learn. Miss Carol sees in Jenny the hope of the future, a child who deserves education, not confinement. But her mission quickly meets resistance. The local men, led by Jake Bowlby, Warner Richmond, see her ideas as a threat to their authority and customs. Bowlby, a hard and controlling man, believes that women and children should stay within traditional roles. As Miss Carol organizes meetings, writes to lawmakers, and encourages mothers to stand up for their daughters, resentment grows in the community. One stormy night, that resentment turns violent. Jake and his followers seize Miss Carol from her home, taking her into the woods to humiliate and intimidate her into silence. But before they can carry out their plan, Angelo Rossito, a kind-hearted man who lives on the edge of town, arrives with Jenny's father, Mr. Colton, George Humphreys. Their courage forces the mob to retreat, and Miss Carol is freed, shaken but unbroken. For a while, peace returns. Miss Carol keeps teaching, and Jenny spends her days near the creek, dreaming of a life beyond the hills. But tragedy strikes when her father passes away, leaving Jenny and her mother vulnerable. Jake Bowlby, filled with bitterness and greed, sees a chance to take advantage of their grief. He corners Jenny's mother, threatening to spread false accusations unless she agrees to his demands. Terrified and desperate to protect her daughter, Mrs. Colton reluctantly consents. Jake dresses in his best clothes, brings Jenny a doll, and arranges for a preacher to perform a ceremony that mocks the very idea of marriage. The child stands silently, clutching the doll, unaware of what is truly happening. What none of them know is that the state has just passed a law banning such unions, a law that makes Jake's act both illegal and meaningless. But laws mean little to men like him. Before any further harm can occur, Angelo appears once more, confronting Jake and putting an end to his reign of fear. In the aftermath, Jenny steps out into the sunlight, frightened but free. Miss Carol takes her in, offering care and safety. With her childhood friend Freddie Nolte, Bob Bollinger, by her side, Jenny begins the long path toward healing. She finally has a chance at a future built not on fear or control, but on knowledge, dignity, and hope. But the film itself, Child Bride wasn't remembered for its moral message. It was remembered for how it betrayed it, because the movie didn't simply talk about exploitation, it visually exploited it. One now infamous sequence portrayed a young actress in a way that crossed ethical boundaries, serving no purpose but to provoke. That single moment caused outrage across the nation. To censors, this wasn't just poor taste, it was dangerous, blurring the line between storytelling and exploitation. Several U.S. states banned the film, while others demanded heavy edits before release. The National Legion of Decency condemned it, and even Hollywood's own strict Hays Code refused to approve it. Yet the film did not disappear. Instead, it found new life on the roadshow circuit, a network of small independent theaters that specialized in controversial films. Promoters would rent local venues, advertise Child Bride as an educational exposé, and charge premium prices, claiming it was too honest for Hollywood. For curious or scandal-seeking audiences, that tagline was irresistible. Watching Child Bride today is deeply uncomfortable, not only because of what's on screen, but because of what it represents. A time when filmmakers cloaked exploitation in the language of education. It's a reminder that moral intent can be twisted into spectacle, and that awareness without empathy can cause harm. The story of Shirley Mills, the young actress at the center of it all, is equally haunting. Just a child when the film was made, she later went on to appear in classics like The Grapes of Wrath, 1940. But she rarely spoke about Child Bride again. One can only imagine the lasting weight of knowing your childhood had been displayed and debated under the guise of social reform. Today, critics and historians view Child Bride as a troubling artifact, a mirror reflecting not just the issue it claimed to expose, but the blindness of those who created it. It stands as proof that the line between awareness and exploitation can be perilously thin. In the long history of banned films, Child Bride stands out not for its rebellion or artistry, but for what it revealed about the dangers of sensationalizing suffering. Some subjects demand compassion, not spectacle, honesty, not exploitation. And when the film reel ends, what remains isn't the scandal or the outrage, but a quiet, unsettling question that still echoes through time. What happens when art forgets its own humanity?